This is going to be for all of my people who are thinking about selling their home or plan on selling their homes in the near future. So the first tip you want to do when you're thinking about selling your home or putting it on the market, number one, is to find you a really good real estate agent. And shameless plug right here, you probably want to pick me. But anywho, if you do not know already, my name is Chantel Harris, and I'm a real estate agent in the state of Missouri, and I'm very familiar with the market. Even if you're not selling your home in the state of Missouri, I can connect you with an excellent agent that can help you with that process. Real estate agents, when people ask me, why should I pick you, or why does it matter who I go with? It does matter who you go with, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with that person, and you need to, like them. Number two, they need to be competent. 3, they need to be able to be responsive to your needs and be able to serve you, and I can do all. So the next thing that you need to pay attention to, or take heed to, is pricing your home correctly. So when I'm working with buyers or talking to sellers, the number one reason why a home is still on the market is either one or two things. It's either it's not priced correctly, it's too high, or number two, it's something wrong with it, and normally the sellers don't want to fix it. Some major issues like plumbing or foundation issues. So you don't want to be the person who's still on the market after 30 to 60 days, because it raises the eyebrows of buyer agents and buyers. So it's important to work with an agent who can do a comparative market analysis, and I can do that for you for free. Just shoot me an email at chantel@kw.com, and I'm going to put that in the description box below, because price sells things. Okay, so number 3 is make sure your real estate agent and you both are on the same page, which means everything should be planned and be in a nice timeline and a nice checklist. I'm a checklist kind of person. Are you? Because once you're able to check that off your list, you can move on to the next task, and you know exactly where you are in the process. So in step 3, you want to make sure you're decluttering, you're doing deep cleaning, and you're making sure that everything looks. Some other tips that go along with step 3 would also be getting a home inspection, and I know normally those are done mostly on the buyer's end, but it's important to have it done on the seller's end as well, because we don't want any, how should I say this, surprises when it comes to the negotiation table. So it's best to just pay those extra couple $100 up front. A home inspection in the St. Louis market can range anywhere from like $250 to like $400 some bucks, depending on the vendor, and I have a few in home inspector vendors that I work with, and so that way we can get that itemized list. And let me tell you, the guys that I work with, they're very detailed and they take pictures of everything, and if we're able to take care of like half that list, because most of the times the things that show up on those inspections report are little bitty things like a little ding on the wall, or tighten up the door handle on a door or a lock or something like that. So you want to take care of all those little bitty things, so that way when the buyer has their inspection, they're not asking for 40 different things to be done when we're at the negotiating table and we're ready for all this to be through, so we can close and get our check and get paid. So a home inspection for the sellers, I do recommend. Now we're at step 5, because step 4 was kind of a tip from step 3, but it was actually step 4, but you get the picture. But anyway, step 5 is staging your home and make sure it's so pretty and pristine, and I always say make it look the way you want it to look if you were buying it, because if you're buying something in comparison to selling something, you would be a little bit more nitpicky too if you were spending your money on something. So stage it to sell. We have vendors that you can work with to get your home staged, and then staging also helps the consumer, which is the buyer, vision them living in it. And it also looks really good on photos, because a lot of people, due to COVID and things like that, they may not go to as many showings as in years past due to COVID-19, but people will go through pictures and swipe through a lot of pictures, and you want your home to grab someone's attention. So that way they will come to the house and they get the feeling of the house and they fall in love with the house, and we want them to be emotionally attached to the house. Okay, so step 6 is, how do you survive going through a week or a few or several weeks of showings and keeping your house in tip-top shape and order? Well, it's quite simple. I just tell my clients to just pretend that you have company coming over every single day, and you will train yourself to make sure you pick up every single thing, because you don't want someone to see your home a mess. It's quite simple. But a few tricks that I've seen is, you know, instead of making your bed all grand and stuff, just get a little sleeping bag and put it over the top and sleep in the sleeping bag. And that can be fun for your kids if you have small children. But if you're an adult and you want to sleep in your bed, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get out your bed and make up your bed so that way it looks all cute and pretty. The other thing is about the showings and people coming in and out of your home. If I list your home and you decide to go with me, and I know during these times of COVID-19, you want to make sure that we're keeping everyone safe and keeping you safe, because you're having strangers coming in and out your home. So I will provide the gloves, the booty, so that way they're not tracking where they came from or any germs or dirt in your home, and also masks, so we can have that set up where all of those things are required. So that's not a problem. And then also it's important to remain flexible, because you have to keep in mind when someone is purchasing something, they want to basically see it on their time. So for instance, I had a buyer who worked the night shift. So you may have some people who may not work 9 to 5 and it may not fit your schedule perfectly, but be mindful and be open and flexible, so that way we can get the home shown and get it under contract as soon as possible. Okay, we're at step 7, which is the number of completion. This is like the place we want to be, other than close and, you know, have the money deposit from the title company into your bank account. Okay, so step 7 will be negotiating a contract, which is very important. So in that step, it's not completely over, but we're like right there. We're about to pass go and collect $200. Do I have any Monopoly players? If so, let me know in the comments below if you're a Monopoly player, because I do. As you can see, I'm in real estate. I love investing. I love houses. I like making money. And then, you know, all that stuff that goes with Monopoly is so much fun. But anyway, the negotiating process is important that you have a really good realtor, because for most people who may not have sold a home before, you would think it would be like no nonsense or anything particular you would have to do other than go with the highest offer. And sometimes it's not as clean cut as you think. The highest offer may be high because the buyer is asking for you to cover $5,000 in closing or $3,000 in closing. So once you know, that's taken off the top, then if you look at the offer, sometimes it's right back where you were at asking price or a little bit below asking price sometimes. So it's important that you have a realtor that will itemize those offers for you and put them in 3 separate categories based on, you know, purchase price, because that's important to look at, which is how much they're offering, if they have any contingencies, and then the third box will be any special personal things that they're asking for in addition to. So sometimes, let's say you have your own personal property that's on display, they may say, hey, can I get that dining room table? And you may say, no, my mom gave me that dining room table and it's not for sale. But it's important that we separate those offers off, so that way we can pay special attention to them, so that way when we're responding to that offer, if that's the one you want to respond to and we want to do a counter offer, we can take the table off the table. Y'all see how I did that? I like that. Welcome to Vlogmas, if I haven't said it today already. Today is gonna be a good day. Okay, so step 1 is to get your finances in order.